Saxon, you want to start us off?
Certainly. It is Wednesday, the 19th of June 2019, and we are starting another round for this year of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep, episode 7 for those playing at home. Okay, so, recap. You arrived in the land of Barovia, to the town of Barovia.
Yes, I remember those.
You met a woman by the name of Mary who had a missing daughter named Gertruda. She's looking for Gertruda. She gave you a doll that belonged to Gertruda. Any of this coming back to anyone?
Yes.
I'm already horrified and I haven't even heard anything yet.
Okay, and you carry this doll with you. You understand that the doll has magical properties. You found that part out. You met Irina, Koliana, and her brother Ismark. Ismark Alessa, and their father, the Burgermeister, had passed away recently. Irina needs to leave the city of Barovia because, or the town of Barovia, because it's not very well protected, and wanted to go to the city of Vallaki.
Vallaki!
You arranged to escort her to Vallaki after the burial of her father. At the church, you encountered Doru and Father Donovich.
We murdered him.
Oh God, that was so weird.
I didn't. I'm innocent of all crimes.
Father Donovich was unfortunately killed because somebody let Doru out. Actually, no, Doru escaped past all of you. It wasn't Jono who let him out.
We had
split
the party, and half of us went in to try and talk with him. He spider climbed past
There's
us.
3 of you and 1 freaking door. How the hell did you stuff that up?
We walked down the stairs.
Some of you then,
So easy to stuff up doors.
then witnessed the march of the dead that came from the cemetery parading its way through the town. You left. At the burial of the Burgomaster, you were surrounded by wolves.
Yes.
The wolves went away after a raven landed on Jono's war loot. The raven then flew to a grave marked Esha. The raven then flew off towards the town of Vallaki. You next encountered the raven when it was on top of an old windmill.
Oh, I remember that.
You made your way into the city of Vallaki, to which the guards, when they let you in, asked you whether you were there for the festival. You in fact said yes. Oh, also on the way to
Whenever
Vallaki.
anyone asks you whether you're there for a festival, you always say yes.
Dave had a premonition. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Dave had a premonition of himself hanging in the gallows, of a gallows that was reserved for murdering or disposing of strangers. As it turns out, I didn't tell you that part, but I'm giving you that part for free now because you passed it. It's usually a place where they
There's nothing strange about me.
On the way to Vallaki, you went by the circles and you met Madame Ava. Madame Ava read you your fortunes and said to some of you, you've already seen your fate. Briefly going over what the fortunes are because they are important to the story.
Hanging, like if you were a stranger, you get hung? Or if a stranger does something to get hung, they hung there.
Yeah,
rather than the other gallows,
Does
which is
anyone
not
know
for
where my character sheet
Which
is?
is just for the town people.
Has anyone
So
seen
with
my
the other
character
one?
sheet?
No.
If you
Isn't it
have
your
one of mine,
folder?
I think you have 4 of them.
Yeah, I was about to say, is
How do you have 4 of them? Which is the latest one?
in front of you, one of mine?
I forgot to date them.
Oh,
Fifth level?
this is why
The
you
one,
get rid of
I mean, the
them.
one with the highest level
Oh my
is the one that has
God.
the giant cross.
Why has no
through it.
one learnt this yet? Destroy the old ones.
The one with the highest
Destroy them.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, I'm assuming this one's redundant because that's what we did.
I assume we're all pretty much the same
It's the
level.
one with the highest
Yes, we should all be
I've
at level
lost
5.
so many character
What have you done?
backstories through
Bevan
destroying
is the
old
one with the
character
highest
sheets.
level,
Hang
level
on.
5.
Is
If
this
I-
like another one?
Where did this come from?
I just found it
Oh,
on
Jesus.
So you had it this whole time.
along with Elris Springsteen.
These are the old ones.
Yes,
This
in case
is the-
those are the
thank
old
you.
ones.
Now-
How about you throw them in?
Peter.
No.
Are you sure you don't need them?
Oh God.
Is there stuff you're transferring from them onto you?
I think that's why I kept the old
Okay.
ones, but it looks like... I
5.
forgot Elvis.
5.
I don't know. I just
Someone's
put
got
him
to play Jono
I just put
tonight.
him-
Someone needs to...
We'll just put him there. Elris is here.
I don't know why you had.
Oh, it's
my
just over
actual
there.
one.
It's just over there. You just over
I
there.
didn't have it, he just
It's a bit
found it on the
confusing.
So you've
table
got, everyone has
there.
got their sheets, we're alright, I can continue on?
Yes.
Okay, so once you met Madam Ava, she did a reading for you. The very first card that came up, she said, this card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. And your clue for that was, the treasure you seek is hidden behind the sun in the house of a saint. Okay?
Ah,
Church in the town.
yeah.
The holy symbol. Oh,
Remember
sorry.
that.
This is the next one. This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. Clue for that. I see a kneeling woman, a rose of great beauty plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak. The next one. This card is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. Your clue for that.
Hang on, I don't know I have that.
I see a sleeping prince, a servant of light and the brother of darkness. The treasure lies with him. The fourth card you receive. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. I see a child, a Vistana. You must hurry, for her fate hangs in the balance.
We've got Harry rather than Hurry for some reason.
The fifth and final card, she said, your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality.
I wonder who he is.
This card will lead you to him. And your clue for that was, look to the mother's tomb.
The mother's tomb. We know what that is, don't we?
Raven.
Something to do with the raven got him.
The raven.
Okay, so after seeing Madam, also Urban had a second encounter with
But we saw the raven.
Madam Ava when he was trying to steal something out of a wagon, and she said to you, Urban, why would you take something that is already yours? And she reminded you of your childhood.
You're now a lost prince.
And
Congratulations.
said that you were born in Barovia and were taken from Barovia because you were different.
It was played by my character as a joke.
So you are in fact a Vistani.
Gypsies! Since when?
You left.
Beginning of the adventure.
You left the campsite and made your way to
So-
Lucky.
So these gypsies, they're all elves, are they?
No. Oh, hang
Making
on,
your-
you're an elf.
I'm a moon elf, so yeah, they must all
You're
be
a
moon
moon
elves.
elf gypsy.
What's happening?
There's something I didn't tweet too.
You left. No, they're not. You left the campsite, travelling to Valaki. You passed the windmill that the Raven was perched on. You made your way to the gates of Valaki. The guards at the gate let you in because you said you were coming for the next festival. You found out in your course of travels that there have been two previous festivals, the Festival of Roses and the Festival of the Wolf's Head Jamboree.
The Wolf's Head Jamboree.
Remember as you
Is
walked
that what
up
it
the
says
main...
in module?
Yep, that's actually some of the shit that I haven't made up.
Wolf's Head
I don't remember the jamboree.
Yep, the Wolf's Head
Are there
Jamboree.
going to be scouts there?
I remember along the side of the
It was a
road
failure.
there were wolves' heads on pikes. Yep.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Nobody liked being killed.
Once reaching the city of Valaki, you have you've been to the Blue Water Inn, and there you met Rictavio.
Urban had his key.
Urban does have his key. You also met Blinsky. You have
Oh, God.
uncovered a painting that was given to him by Isaac Strahd to paint Irina Koliana, or who has an incredible likeness of Irina Koliana. You met the Burgomaster, who was telling you about his upcoming festival, the Festival of the Blazing Sun. Currently, and then Urban went upstairs to deliver food to Victor because he wanted to go or she wanted to go and speak to Victor. We ended the 6th session with Urban going unconscious up in that room.
Oh, did he go? He's in his ex room though.
He's in his ex room.
Yes, because they directed him there because sometimes he's in his ex room.
Yeah. The last thing he saw was a man tied to a chair with an auburn wig on, a white powdery face, a beautiful pale blue dress, and he was hopping up and down on the chair with his eyes wide. And he was tied to it, and then for Urban, everything went dark from there, and we ended.
What
with
happened, Urban? What
Jim
happened?
someone hit me.
He's moved him.
Did something from behind.
And that's right.
Why
And the
jumping
last
in?
thing that Urban remembered was reading a tag on this man's beautiful dress that said, "Is no fun."
It's not Blinsky.
In terms of, well, you've got a couple of things that you already know and you need to look into.
We
Is.
have been given a mission to go looking for the source of wine. Or
That's right. I was about just what I was about to say. You've been asked by the Blue Water Inn that their wine delivery has been stopped for quite a while, and if you could check into it, they've also promised you free board and lodging and food. If you look into why the wine has stopped coming from the Wizard
Oh, I'd
of
forgotten
Wines.
about that, yep. We have to go somewhere.
Also, Blinsky has asked you that if you come across a small metal man that is quite rare and valuable, he will pay handsomely for it in terms of make you whatever toy you desire in exchange for this metal man. If you find him, he believes the metal man is in Castle Ravenloft, which is why he doesn't want to go.
No, I would
no
not.
problem
Go
whatsoever.
and get it.
You know what we should do? You know what we should do? We should refuse never to go into Castle Ravenloft. The whole adventure. See how
Oh, this could be like a giant sandbox adventure where we spend the rest of our lives just wandering around
You
buying
know,
pies.
doing odd
you
jobs.
know I will keep going.
Now, can I just go back to something?
Yes.
Is there anything like this?
I don't think there is, but
we-
I didn't entirely
We need to
absorb
pass
it.
the
It was
week
quite a
down,
data
but we'll
dump.
get that the next day.
He said to come back for that the next
Tomorrow,
day.
yes.
So, the key thing I didn't quite catch, right, was that Urban was in a room. Where was this room?
It's
In the Burgomaster's
it's
mansion.
Strahd, not Strahd, it's the
Isaac Strahd.
Isaac Strahd, the right hand man of the Baron. That's whose room he's in.
Mhm.
He's in his bedroom.
The gimping room.
The gimping room is also his bedroom.
Well, that's a good place to do gimping, I think. If you're into that sort of thing.
Okay.
He's currently face
So-
down in a tea tree.
Actually, it's better to do it in the cellar. It's actually better to do it in the basement with a green door. That's free.
So-
I assume everybody knows about this guy because I don't see how you could do that.
How we could do this from the quiet?
What are you doing, Isaac? Nothing.
Oh, that's just the screaming that happens from time to time.
Pay no attention. I'm having nightmares. In a different way.
So, are we ready to pick up?
Sure.
Let's then. Okay, so where the party is at the moment, Urban is in the mansion. The party has left the Burgomaster's mansion. You have yet to tell me where you have gone, but you told me that you left the mansion. The two of you are in the Blue Water Inn with Rictavio at the moment, and Ismark and Irina.
I assume the rest of us are heading back to the Blue Water Inn where we will await Urban's arrival.
And
Possibly.
then go, where's he gone?
Where's he gone?
Where's that moon elf gone?
So, while what we did was we had the Burgomaster mansion encounter. He separated from that party. So remember, Urban did some sewing, and some beautiful sewing as it was, as well, for some of the boys' clothes for the festival.
You a lady elf.
Yes, he's a lady elf.
And you had your conversation with the Burgomaster downstairs.
Yes.
What we didn't then therefore cover in the meantime is what the two of these guys were doing while this was all going on.
Ha
So,
Did we have some kind of mission? Did
An
we have
amazing
some-
adventure.
Not that I remember.
but you were back at the Blue Water Inn.
Yeah, we were talking to Rick Tarver.
Yep, you're sitting at a table with Rictavio. In this meantime, a little bit while they've gone to the
I'm getting drunk.
the
Are there girls
mansion.
there?
What has happened in the meantime is a group of 4 Vistani men have come in and they've taken up a table at the back towards the end. You're at a table that's closer towards the bar area. And
Are they raggle-taggle gypsies?
Challenge them to a duel.
pretty much.
Are they more raggedy than the gypsies you met in the forest?
Tonight
Not
I'll
the one
sleep
there.
in the cold open field, along with the raggle-taggle gypsy.
Erwin Mardikov, the man who owns the establishment, is behind bar at the moment.
Oh,
His
that
wife
man.
is out in the kitchen, and he's busily, as he loves to do, polishing glasses. The Vistani from the table behind you is seated the four of them around this small table, and you're happily chatting to Rictavio. Call out to him, Rictavio! Rictavio! And he's pretending to ignore them and still talk to you. Rictavio, tell us another of your shitty stories.
Are
And
they drunk?
they're slowly getting drunk. And Rictavio continues on and he goes, Oi, Rictavio, shitty story, come on, what did we come in this place for? Rictavio looks at you and goes, just hold my beer, I'll be back. He stands up and walks over to the table. The guy who was calling him out stands up, and Rictavio looks straight at him and he goes, I once knew a man who was so freaking stupid he did not know the story was about him. To which the Vistani looks at me and goes, who was this man? And Rictavio slowly turns his head back to you and goes, he goes, that is worst story I have ever heard. Shit story. And he goes, you're supposed to be entertainer. You have no entertainment. You have no animals. You have no act. You are the shittest entertainer I have ever heard of. And Rictavio looks straight at him and he goes, did you ever heard of me? To which point the guy shoves him really hard and Rictavio falls back over another bunch of tables. Erwin Mardikov straight away, and you are surprised that he can move so quickly for such a heavy-set man, appears, and in his hand, out of nowhere, is like this massive mace, and he jumps the counter. And Saxon, you sort of know that this mace is not sort of for war, but in fact for bashing meat, but you can't imagine what thing that you would need to bash to have a mace this big.
Okay.
Oh, the special stuff. It'll be.
As he jumps the counter, he screams out, no weapons, because the Vistani are going for their knives and stuff. And he goes, if you want to fight, take it outside. And the Vistani, not to back down from the fight, Strahd pulls Rictavio up, and as he pulls him up, Rictavio brushes the guy down, and he goes, take it outside, and Rictavio goes, I would, except the mist blocks my throat, like your boyfriend's tongue blocks yours.
That's weird.
At this point,
That's a weird thing to say.
Irina Colliana comes downstairs. She has changed in terms of clothes, not as in terms of appearance. She, in fact, looks incredibly radiant, absolutely beautiful. And she is out of her armour, but she still carries her sword by her side. And as Rictavio gets himself up and makes his way back to the table, and Erwin orders the Vistani to leave because they realise they're trying to start a fight, she walks up to the table and sees both of you and turns to you,
Now's your chance.
Dave, and says, Master Carrick,
Yes?
would you please accompany me to the church and introduce me to the father there? Now, because Irina is part of a noble family, she can't just walk into a church without being announced. So she's kind of asking if you would
Oh, I see.
go
Do
and
the herald
present
business.
her. Yeah.
Why? Because am I noble? No.
No.
I'm just some goon.
Well, she explains it in terms of that you follow Maleki, the Morning Lord and Maleki are kind of aligned in that sort of way.
Sure.
It wouldn't be, and
That's
she
true.
knows that
I'm a
maybe
priest.
your God wouldn't be so upset if you walked into a church in the Morning Lord.
Nah, of course not. We're all relaxed, man. Us druids.
She does turn to you, Saxon, and goes, oh, Master Mish, you may accompany us if you wish. I don't wish to trouble you, and I don't need any protection. And she...
Not well I've got my shillelagh.
That's right. And she puts her hand on her sword. She looks quite capable of taking care of herself.
No stereotypes here, kiddies.
My name's
Misha's
Ferguson,
fallen.
Carrie.
No, he's probably not needed here to wait for the others to return. You can simply leave word with Master Octavio where we have gone, accompanying her to the church, and we should be back within the hour, I should imagine.
That will be fine. I will let them know upon their return. In fact, I need to go and feed my dragon.
Very well. We shall see you anon. Have a good day, afternoon, sir.
See you soon. So you both leave.
I
think so. Yes.
Okay. As you walk out the door, what you don't see, but I will tell you about, is Rictavio stands, puts on his jacket, shoves his hands into his pocket, feels around and goes, shit. Walk across.
gypsies.
Do we know what he's looking for?
Okay.
So,
But he'll think the gypsies talking.
Yes.
Had an expander with them. So Urban is safe, relatively speaking.
He's safely within the gymping room.
This is an interesting new use of the word safe to which we have previously been unaccustomed.
I'm quite proud of my gimping room. I don't think that's a term that's ever been used before.
I think it
I
has.
think we'll continue.
I think I've done it before.
Gimping room. What happens if I Google it? What do you think?
You
I
get
would not
lots of
Google.
happy
I would not
users.
Google gimping room.
Too
Please.
late, I am.
Rule of 23 will get you. Seriously.
He said, "Oh Jesus."
Has to do
Things I never Google.
I'm just getting gimp definitions. I'm not getting anything terribly.
Unless you want to do something in between, you arrive at the church.
Get a Wikipedia article for the bondage suit.
Told you. Or did I tell you not?
This is remarkably undisturbing so far. I won't go to the second.
Sorry.
Go on, Mitch.
This church is the Morning Law. That's Latanda.
Which, yes, which is Irina's faith.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
The Morning Lord.
This one is slightly bigger than the one that was in
Barovia.
Barovia.
One that we burned.
We
Oh, no,
didn't
we
burn it.
didn't.
They abandoned it
Oh, bad.
with a corpse on the floor
This
and
slouching-
vampires lurking in the.
So you don't want to do anything before you go to the church? She's just making her way to the
I thought it was-
church from
You
where
didn't
you are.
put a blanket over him.
It's wolves.
It's walked. The church is towards the opposite end of the town of where you came in, but it'd only take you about 15 minutes walking to reach there.
I see no reason to. Do we know where this
It's
idiot is?
becoming late into the
We
afternoon.
haven't had time to realise his music. Me and John haven't even turned up at the tavern yet.
No.
Yes.
Oh, should we?
And Ray.
Should we have
and,
left some
Yeah, you're with
I did. I
Mine
left a
left
message
yours
with
there.
Rictavio.
Oh, thank God!
Not him. You're with.
Maybe
Jono
it'd be
and Pete.
better to leave a message with the barkeep. But anyway,
That's a good point. Too late now.
because Rectavio's probably trying to murder gypsies right now.
It will be a great comedy of errors.
Okay, this slouching centuries-old stone church has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked stained glass windows.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go.
What did you say? This slouching centuries old. What does that even mean? Slouching centuries old church. What
Old
does-
stone church.
I got it.
The
Yeah.
probably the
Slouching centuries old
ceiling, the roof is beginning to sag.
Yeah. Centuries. Centuries.
Yes.
Didn't I say centuries?
I
thought
thought you said centuries.
it sounded like century to me. You know, century.
Ah,
Oh,
right.
but
This
it had been there
slouching
a thing.
century of a church.
I'm like, what?
As in something that's standing guard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no.
That could be the case.
I'm like,
So you're
what?
thinking of a slouching guardsman.
I did not hear the subtle. I did not hear the subtle syllable. In
Sorry,
there.
I'll try again.
Great, my teacher.
This slouching centuries-old stone church has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked, stained glass windows depicting pious saints. A fence of wrought iron encloses a garden of gravestones next
Not
to
the
the church.
offensive water iron.
A thin mist creeps among the graves.
There's always a mist, isn't there?
We know what mist means, don't we?
Yes, our life forces will be sapped,
Yes, that too.
and my socks will get wet in the dew.
All right.
Well, you never had wet socks from the dew? Apparently he has them.
Irina goes up, pushes the double
How is
doors.
that racist?
Pushes the double doors of the church. As you look inside, it's fairly dim inside, although there are candles lining both sides of the church, but it's fairly cool and fairly dim inside. There's probably about 8 to 10 people of various ages in the church. Some lighting candles, some kneeling in prayer. You notice one boy is busy fetching more candles and seems to be taking instructions from the father that is further up near the altar. And as she walks in and gets partway into the church, she stands and waits.
Yeah, alright. Am I supposed to just announce it, or am I supposed to talk to the priest?
Hear ye, hear ye.
I'll probably go up and talk to the.
I think I'm just talking to the priest, unless you gave me explicit instructions to the contrary.
No, she just wants you to introduce
I
her
will go and approach the priest.
by her title,
Whatever it is.
Lady Irina Colliana
Lady Irina Colliana
of Barovia.
of Barovia. Yeah, I will approach the priest.
Okay. Father Lucian turns around, and he's probably a guy late 40s, early 50s. His hair is really thin.
Yeah,
He turns around, realizes he doesn't recognize you, and says, "May I help you?"
I give him a bow in my half-elfish way.
Welcome to St. Adriel's Church,
I am
my son.
Carrick Fergus, follower of Maliki,
You are welcome here, then, Carrick. How may I be of service to you?
servant of the moon.
Although
What
you,
you zapping?
although you do find us under trying times, what?
That may be, but may I first please
Yes.
introduce you to the lady.
Oh, and then as you turn away, and he thinks she's just absolutely beautiful. She's very bright. And of course, if you even look back, the light coming from the church sort of makes her appear angelic.
What's going on here? Is she like some vampire in disguise? What's happening?
No.
What's happening?
It's the love that burns with 1,000
Kill her.
suns.
Kill her!
Data! Data!
It's the same kind
Oh,
of
it amounts
lighting
to the
effect
same
that you
thing.
get in the Agatha Christie novels about the Harlequin.
Data! Data!
Murder in the middle of the temple in front of the crowd,
Oh, to date or murder!
screaming, "She's too beautiful, it's a trap!"
No, all the hussies must die!
Anyway, no, I don't do any of those.
So you introduce her. She
I
steps.
can't stab her anyway. I'm not allowed to.
She steps forward and
Wooden
puts her hand out.
That's what
As the
it's
father takes her hand, she kneels and he kisses her hand, and then she rises and he says, "Welcome to Valaki, both of you. Irina, it's been a long time since I spoke to Father Donovich. How is he?"
So. Do I know that?
I'm so glad
I must know Father Donovich is dead, yeah.
Why would you know that? You faced the village in terror.
Does she know that? Yeah, we
Yes.
all know that. I wonder what we're about to say.
You're in my diary.
Well, she was asking her a question, not me, so it's up to her first. I keep my lips shut.
As she explains what happened to Father Donovich and Doru and how they needed to flee Barovia, and he seems very disturbed by all of this and all
Because
such
it's very disturbing.
a
Put
surprise.
those down those things at 5.
Do you know what it says on my track pants that I just purchased recently?
What?
Superior brand special product.
Well, that's you all over.
Do you know how much they cost? $19.
That could be our next Star Wars character.
So
What's the average brand ordinary
They're not
product
that
look like
$5.95.
for $5.95?
Also $19.
Anyway, sorry, back to the picture.
So he says, to flee such a horrible thing, you have indeed been blessed by the Morning Lord, and you've now arrived safely into Vallaki, no doubt through your strong faith.
Yes. The moon beams of the moon, which is a bit like the rays of the morning sun, I guess, if you insist.
I'm so glad I'm not good. I have no fear of going mad like he's just done.
I'm a hermit. I'm not used to talking to people.
His social aptitude has not been properly developed yet.
You ended up coming. Yeah, you ended up coming along.
Yes, yes.
Did the two of you deliver Irina here and Ismark by yourself?
No. We are a bunch of group of friends.
Bunch of group.
We are a bunch of group.
Ignore the tongue-tiedness of the player.
Speaks for the bunch of group. And where is your bunch of group?
Bunch of group.
At the inn, mostly.
We're actually bungee jumpers. We're a bungee group.
We're scattered to the four winds at the moment.
Yes, but I'm going to say the inn. Are we staying there? Is that what's happening?
Yes. We're staying.
Well, then that's a good answer.
Bunch of group.
There are Onski, Tuski, Treski, Torski, Fifski, Sexki of us.
That's the official name of the party now. And somebody says, "Who are you?" We're a bunch of group.
You can say a bunch of grapes,
No, a
presumably,
bunch of group.
presumably that's
So-
the neuron that misfired is a bunch of grapes.
What? That makes less sense.
No, I get it. Bunch of grapes.
So-
group. You know,
Bunch of group.
it just happens. It's what brains do.
I don't
Silence, mister. Bunch of groups.
I don't know. I just want to get
Before
on
you
with
break
the game.
Saxon.
Really. So he says, surely in these troubled times, it is good that you have sought the sanctity of the church. However, I fear things here are not as safe as what they could be.
That sounds unfortunate.
What's been happening? Come on, tell me the story. That's
No.
exactly.
Do you put your arm around him?
Hey, bro,
he looks
want to
towards
sip
a
some of the
boy.
communal wine and tell me your story?
He looks towards the boy. The boy is probably 8 or 9 years old. He turns to the boy and he says, "Yes, Khan." And the boy comes in and says, "Yes, Father." He says, "Yes, Khan. Could you please ask the other people to leave?"
Oh, really? If this is anything like my experience with the Catholic Church, the priests used to drink whiskey and smoke cigars in the refectory. That's what that is.
I'm so trying not to go there.
Refectory? What the hell was it called?
It's called a refectory.
Oh, that's a Protestant thing. What's the Catholic version called?
Who knows?
I can't remember.
Inquisitional
Rectory?
Star Chamber.
It's called a rectory.
The wine room.
Presbytery? No, that's clearly not right.
Can I get on with this?
No,
story? That would be so good. You
No.
can Google it while I'm speaking.
The boy storage room.
Yeah, the gimping
So-
room.
The gifting room.
The
There we go.
Archbishop
The other gifting room.
Pellegrin.
Yeska,
Eric's been said.
Yeska starts to move down to the church and is asking people polite. And the people just nod because, once Yeska's sort of saying, "The Father wishes some private speech," we're going to move on. And then to the two of you, and he says, Yeska has been with me for
20 years.
many years now, since he was a toddler. His mother came to me very distraught one night. She was not in a very stable condition, and she asked for confession. And upon me taking her confession, she slit her own throat
Oh, God!
with the toddler
I'm
in her
about
arm.
to... Oh, what? I'm about to do the same.
I felt so sorry
Another
for
priest
the
dies.
poor boy that I took the boy in, and he, to this day, does not know his mother's fate. I have not shared this with him, nor
She's
do I intend
dead. That's
to.
what happens when you slit your throat.
As,
If you're lucky.
as far as the father, we do not know
Who he was, who is, maybe he lives yet. Strahd. Is it Strahd? I don't mean Strahd, I mean Strahd.
No.
What? You know that was a big motivation why he wanted to do Ravenloft. Because the bad guy is called Strahd. Or Strahd.
The ultimate power fantasy.
He then says, as Jesko finally clears, I think, this is, my friends, this church remains unprotected.
Really? Why is it unprotected? Don't you have the power of your morning god, whatever his name is?
Come, let me show you.
Alright.
He moves up towards the altar and he says, Jesko, please stay up here and make sure nobody enters the church.
Cool.
Okay, now I'm about to enter the giving room.
As he goes up to
Are you going up
the altar, you notice that there's a lever, and he pushes the lever,
Yeah, we're going to the giving room.
and then he's able to
It's on our team.
slide
Enjoy.
the altar out of
Oh
the
yeah,
way.
this is one of the bloody things,
This is
isn't
one
it?
of the things.
I just
And
discovered a thing despite my own incompetence.
And then there is a staircase
You
that
read one of
goes down.
those.
And he says, please follow me down. And he descends the stairs.
You shall follow.
At the bottom is a
When you get
like
down,
altar.
and directly under where the altar would be is another very big stone altar, want of a better word, down there. And you could see, you only see this as he goes to the wall and he lights a candle. You see that there is thick dust all around this whole place. This room is probably only 10 foot by 10 foot at the largest. Okay, it's a very small room. It is completely sealed in. Only access to it being by above that you can see and notice. On top of this stone altar, want of a better word, has been brushed aside and has been disturbed. So as you look at it, you think something used to be there that is no longer there.
Some kind of...
Body.
No, that's not what I was going for.
Body corpse.
So he's saying it's like an altar, but it's not an altar. Is it more like a sarcophagus?
Oh, well, it's resting place of Chiron the Magnificent.
Sans the corpse.
So there was clearly something on this altar and it has been taken.
Guys, and it's very important to the church.
It's,
And
it's
in
some powerful symbol of your god.
fact, to the city of Valaki itself. This church has always been a sanctuary for the people here. It is no longer.
Because this thing's gone.
Yes.
Whatever this thing is.
Saint Adriel is not actually a saint at all. The church is named after.
He's a vampire.
Adriel lived at the time of Strahd before he was a vampire.
Bloody hell, the time of Strahd.
When Strahd became a vampire, most of his own guards turned against him. They shot him with arrows, but of course he did not die. Those that were not completely destroyed by Strahd fled to Valaki. Upon reaching Valaki, Adriel took them in to his house.
Sounds like a saint to me.
As
Wait for
Strahd descended upon the city and slowly started to kill the people within the city of Valaki, he came to Adriel's house and could not get in.
It's a miracle!
Most people Strahd could convince to let them into his house, but Adriel's willpower was too great.
Yes, because we all know a vampire cannot enter where they are not invited.
Good thing they're having a festival, inviting
It's-
everyone.
It remained throughout the rest of his life that Strahd could not enter
I'm not
his
sure my
house.
character even knows that this guy's a vampire yet. I don't know.
We know he's a vampire.
Sorry?
You've just been told if you didn't.
Oh,
We've
that's
been
right.
told repeatedly.
That's true.
And we keep asking this question.
Do we?
Well, last time it was Ray.
Adriel-
Yes, we keep asking this question.
He's just been described as, you know, like, nasty man or the Lord or whatever. Anyway.
Isaac told us.
People of the town, and also those guards, decided that they never wanted to leave the house as a point of sanctuary. They built their own community upon the land, lived off it, and never left the area, and were never bothered by the vampire. Adriel once said that once he passed away, as long as he remained within the house, the vampire would never be able to enter. After he died, his house was torn down and this church was built over its side.
And this is where his body went?
Where his body has forever, since that time that he died, been upon this altar. Now, the body is gone.
How long ago
When
was
you
it
say
that was
he-
taken?
Sorry, just before that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. When you say his body was on the altar, what? He was in ashes in an urn or something?
His bones.
His bones, alright.
How long ago was it that the body went missing?
His
The
bones,
first
very
discovered,
Catholic.
I first discovered that it was missing maybe about 6 months ago.
Ah. I can't ask this question, I'm not there.
Did that correspond with the Wolf's Head Jamboree Festival?
No, that's not the question.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Can I ask the question anyway?
What dare?
This is a GM question. It's not
Sure.
6 months ago, is that when all the trouble started in the town of Barovia with Irina or whatever her name is?
I think it was probably a little bit longer ago.
A little bit longer, but roughly the same time. Okay.
So there's no obvious events that we can think of which directly correlate, at least as far as time goes. It's probably either something we don't know about or completely unconnected to outside events.
I also need to tell you that the story of Adriel's bones are known only to the fathers that take over the church. The town do not know of the existence of them. They believe the church itself as a building serves as a safe.
Yeah, somebody certainly knows.
He'd have to know. He was the one who got foiled.
I have not reported the bones missing through fear of panic.
Good
From
plan.
the town.
Good plan.
I have also only told the location of the bones to
Let's kill them all.
Veska.
Everyone on the list. Veska.
That's the kid, isn't it?
Who's Veska?
The boy who I have taken in. The
He's a
only
devil child!
The devil's child! Child of the devil!
The
Pray
only
not
reason that
jump
I
to
told
conclusions.
No, I love to.
is after there was widespread panic in the town after the Jamboree, and Veska feared for his very life and wanted to leave the town. I said to him that we are perfectly safe, and I showed him where the bones were to prove that we live upon consecrated ground, and it calmed the boy greatly.
Strahd has probably told his minion, bloody Ivor, what's his gimp man, to go get the bones. Because he would know all this, because he was the one who got thwarted.
Well, he may not. I don't see there's any reason. I get that he was thwarted, right?
Yes.
I get that. Well, he would also be aware, presumably, that after the passing of what's his jingle, he still couldn't get through.
Yes, and they would have known to build the church.
Would have known to build a church, so he could put two and two together.
Yes.
He wouldn't necessarily know exactly where those bones were.
That's true.
Nor would he necessarily know that it was bones as such, but presumably that's a reasonable inference. So, yeah, the child. Is there any clues about a child?
There is a thing in here about the child. The Vistani child. Is the kid a Vistani child, though?
we don't know his parentage.
Sheds light.
Oh, hang on, was his mother Vistani?
Didn't get the impression she was Vistani.
No.
She was from the town.
She was right. Is that going to destroy your voice talking like that?
Possibly, but such is.
You will suffer for your art.
As far as I know, the only thing that relates is the monk one. Behind the sun, house of the saint.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely the house of the saint.
I think we've managed that one. Now, is this the only way in or out of this little sanctuary?
Yes.
This where we just went.
Yes.
So far as one knows.
This is the only way in or out.
I wonder if it's worth a little exploration. I have dark vision, which might be of some help to me.
So do I.
Where are we? We're just like in a little tunnel.
10 by 10, there's
Yeah.
just solid wall
Rock.
all around you. You look around, and you look around really carefully. You can see there are no secret doors.
So, dust on the altar
That
And
has
on
been
the
disturbed.
that's
On the
been
floor as well.
disturbed. How about dust on the floor?
Yep, been disturbed. People have
Can
been
we-
walking around.
Right. So I was, it's probably too ruined a crime scene. I was just wondering whether we could work out, where the
Footprints.
footprints. Yes.
I know I'm not there, but footprints leading to any of the other walls.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking as well. All right. So whoever did it presumably used the same route that we did, which is interesting enough. In
There's
itself.
only 2 people who know this.
Yes. And presumably the one that just showed us this is probably not the one who's guilty of stealing it, because that would be really
Did
weird.
the kid say he wanted to leave the town?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's pinched the bones so he can carry them with him.
Yeah, he might have a motivation other than nefariousness. That's true.
Well, depends how you define nefariousness.
Yes. Now the kid wanted to leave. Why? Because of all these freakish festivals that they wanted to cook children at, or whatever the hell's happening. Whatever the fuck is going on.
There were, sorry, asking the games master here, there were mention of riots after the Wolf's Head Jamboree.
No, just various unrest. It was very ugly for the children.
Mm-hmm.
People bringing in wolves to slaughter. The wolves were slaughtered in the middle of the town.
Puppy dogs.
That disturbed the children greatly. It's not what the Baron wished, I understand, but it had the opposite effect. This disturbed Jeska greatly.
I think
He
we need to
panicked
have a chat with this
and
young
wanted
Jeska
to leave
boy.
the town.
I think we need to have a little chat with this little Jeska boy.
He didn't believe me when I told him that we were perfectly safe here.
Now, where's he live, this little Jeska boy? Does he live in the church somewhere?
He lives within the church. He stays with me. He is my lord.
Does he? Oh, I say, does he have a room, or is he just got a little
Yes,
bed?
he has a room.
Sleep under the altar.
Because that's a bit unusual in medieval times. People used to just sleep together. In
If we are finished down here, we could ascend. The air is certainly clearer above.
So,
Yes, this is a bit stuffy down here.
sorry about that.
Have yourself a lozenge, mate.
Let's wish to explore down here.
No.
Nah, maybe a taste of dust.
All right. So
No.
walk back up,
Yeah.
and you see that Yester is still by the doors, and he's fixing various candles and just
He wasn't
tidying up
listening or
around the church.
Yeah.
And
I recommend torture.
Father Lucian
Moonbeam.
calls out, calls out, "Yes, God, these men wish to speak to you."